Hey everybody, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody's doing okay out there. I forgot that you were chewing gum like on the thing, so try not to like get too close to the microphone.
I'll spit it out in a minute.
It's like kind of gross. Like,
I was out working in a garden, man. I had to pull up a whole bunch of damn sweet potatoes. Made a bunch of them, but not as many as I thought.
Well,
messed up on the instructions. Yeah, it's a long story.
It's a long story.
Next yield will be better. 90 days.
Yeah.
Big sweet potatoes.
Big sweet potatoes.
And then I'm taking all the greens off the top of them, and they taste just like spinach. I'm gonna turn them into sog paneer, or sog with not sog paneer, but sog, which is like a
because we don't have any paneer, do we?
Don't have any paneer. Sog is like a Indian spinach stew kind of.
Yeah,
nice.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
I mean, I especially like it with paneer in it, but
yeah,
we don't have any paneer.
I got some pork tenderloin though.
But yeah, kind of Otson said, I remember this movie. It's like Predator in a way. Yeah, this movie is kind of like, I had seen it like a long time ago, and I remember really liking it. And then I'm kind of like, I was the thing where, well, I thought Tom would really like it.
Yeah, I fell asleep.
And then so I put it on, and literally like 2 minutes after it started, he fell asleep. So he had to watch it by himself today. Yeah. so he knows that. Because I was like, yeah, it's fun, right? Yeah. It's kind of like a trashy B-movie version of
Predator 2 and Blade Runner.
Runner.
First Power.
Yeah, well, and matter of fact, it's interesting that you mentioned First Power because the guy that wrote the screenplay for this movie, the screenplay was originally, because the name Split Second, I was like, that has absolutely nothing to do with anything like in the movie. That wasn't the original title. The original title was either Pentagram or Pentacle, and he wrote it back in the late 80s. And it kind of like made the rounds, and then finally like this producer came up and said, oh, this seems like a good movie. But by the time that a producer had gotten their hands on it, they're like, okay, well, this is way too much like The First Power, which had come out in 1990. Because originally this was supposed to be set in LA, and there was like a serial killer that was doing like pentagrams that was killing so many people, like, so they had to like change it to something else. Because it was absolutely too similar to that. But he had, like I said, he had written it before that movie came out.
Let me give this the rundown, though. Okay. let me cut to the chase of what we're dealing with here. This movie, it's a shitty movie, but it's fucking enjoyable. All right? That's
what I mean.
What they did is they are kind of homaging every Arnold Schwarzenegger fucking action adventure flick and every Stallone action adventure. They're kind of homage and Blade Runner. They're homaging all these fucking classic films way too early before you're supposed to homage them. Okay. It's kind of like Blade Runner but low budget. It's Predator 2. All right. You got Rutger Hauer. All right, 47-year-old Rutger Hauer. They're trying to hide the fact.
Just Hauer. It's not Howard.
Yeah. What's his name again?
Hauer.
Hauer. That's right.
H-A-U-E-R.
That's what I said.
No, you said Howard.
No.
With a D at the end.
Things. I didn't say D on it.
Yeah, you
It's
did.
Rutger Hauer, and he's slightly overweight in this, but he still looks pretty good. You got that. What's her name? The chick from fucking
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall. Okay, but it's just like
from Mannequin, and
well,
she still has the hair that she had in the Star Trek movie.
Yeah, it was like something from the Star Trek movie. Because she had this
what, Star Trek 6 or whatever the fuck she was
she's
in?
probably about 35, 37 in it, but she's still attractive. She's got this hot goth bob with it shaved a little bit on the sides, and they keep showing that off because that was very futuristic in the 90s.
You also get to see her boobies.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, well, there's a lot of fucking tits and ass. And this is a British movie, okay? This is the British.
It's a British-American co-production,
right. But the British are understanding it, They're rolling with it. They're like, yeah, it's okay. And they don't have an American leading man. They got a damn, what is he, Dutch?
I think he's Dutch, isn't he?
Yeah, like a Dutch. So he's basically playing a cross between Roy Batty and Deckard from Blade Runner, with every hard-boiled cop stereotype, over-the-top fucking stereotypes on everything. The tone is almost like, it's ridiculous, okay? But it's supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is like the tone is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, I'd probably be more specifically, the tone is Total Recall. Okay. The visual style is goth industrial from the 90s. It looks like a damn Front 242 video. Everybody in it, what they're dressed and everything. Kind of like a pseudo-futuristic, what 1992 thought what futuristic would be like.
Yeah, because it was made in 1992, but it's supposed to be set in 2008.
Yeah, so what you end up with is Front 242 and like goth industrial. That's what it looks like. Everything's kind of paramilitary looking, gray and black leather. Then there's all these tropes and stereotypes from earlier movies. Like you got the cop, or no, Rutger Hauer. Not only is Rutger Hauer doing Deckard. Not only is he, who else did I was Deckard, and what else did I say he was? He's also a little bit of like the dude from Lethal Weapon. Okay, you know the character from Lethal Weapon.
Yeah.
What was that character's name? Crazy cop who's like on the edge of it. He's doing that.
He's a cop who doesn't play by the rules.
Cop that doesn't play by the rules.
Big time.
His sidekick is basically the sidekick from Beverly Hills Cop. What was his name?
Like Judge Reinhold's character.
Yeah, what was Judge Reinhold's character's name in Beverly Hills Cop?
I can't remember.
The goofy fucking nerdy cop. All right, a British cop. In this case, it's not Taggart. Oh shit, Billy. Billy was the cop's name, right? Damn, Billy, you know. He's like that. And, man, in the final engagement, in the final fucking showdown with the monster, the sidekick is in Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator 1 costume, where he was dressed like a punk rocker with a black leather jacket. He's just missing the gargoyle glasses, but the boots and everything. It's just there's a lot of homages to shit in it. You understand it if you know action movies. It's over the top. It's ridiculous, but it stays within the boundaries of an American 80s era action flick. It doesn't go outside of it too much to where it becomes a parody. It's not a parody. It's more like just an homage to it. It was. You would probably see it as a parody today, but I don't think they were parodying anything back then.
No, I don't think they were.
They just had it set up on 11 a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
over the top, but it's super fun though.
It's fun, yeah. The tone is good.
It is very, very entertaining. This movie is very entertaining.
Yeah, the tone is, imagine if Predator 2 is happening in a Front 242 video, kind of like Blade Runner, and the tone is not serious like Blade Runner was. The tone is more like in Total Recall, kind of like that. That's the tone.
Yeah, I mean
on the edge of reality.
Some of the best shit about it. Oh, and by the way, it's also a monster movie.
Yeah, it's a monster. Movie. It's like Predator 2. Yeah. They're running out of some kind of monster. It's a rat DNA.
Well, they're not real clear on that.
Because it's a mutant.
Well, because the thing that happened, like I said, this movie had a very, very troubled production history. Initially, it was supposed to be more like the first Power. Like I said, the guy that originally wrote it, is the same guy that later wrote like Fast and the Furious and Hollow Man, the one with Kevin Bacon. But so he wrote the script originally, and it was supposed to be like about like an occult serial killer. It's supposed to be like a buddy cop flick, but with an occult tinge, like an occult tinge serial killer, like a Satanist serial killer. So like I said, eventually what would become the first Power. So it was kind of like that. But then after it got changed, he was kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to make it more like dystopian. So he made it like forward to like 2008. It's set in London now, and it's like futuristic, where there's like global warming and like the parts of London are flooded. So like I said, you still have a dystopian thing going on, and it still has the occult element, but now it's like supernatural, because the serial killer, you find out later on, is actually like a demon. Or it's not real clear, but like I said, I mean, it was called Black Tide at that point. Yeah. Which actually is kind of like a cooler title, even though that doesn't have a huge amount to do with the movie either. Although that does at least reference like the flooding and stuff. But Yeah, so the monster
it looks like Venom.
It looks like Venom. I mean,
like Venom.
pretty much.
Pretty much looks like
it looks
Venom.
like the symbiote.
Yeah, cross between Venom and the Xenomorph kind of, but more like Venom. It's a demon of some sort, but it's also like a mutant. If it takes a bite from you, it steals your DNA. Now, how does that help it? It's not really clear. Evidently, it learns from you, I guess.
Yeah, well, and the thing about it too is that Rutger Hauer's character, whose name is Harley Stone, by the way.
Yeah.
He was wounded by the creature because the whole thing is that the creature killed his partner like 3 years previously, something like that, and he didn't really get over it all that well, so now he's just kind of like a bundle of nerves and he's all like paranoid and stuff.
Yeah.
And he got wounded, and so now he has a little bit of a psychic link with the monster, so he like happens, but he doesn't seem all that aware of it. Like, it's not, there's a lot of ideas in this, but they're not really developed. But you know what? I don't even care because this movie is just like super, super fun. Yeah. It's super gory. Yeah. There's boobies. It's funny. Yeah. Like it
starts with that too. This starts with a goth industrial underground club, and there's a real hot, famous British stripper that I looked it up. Her name is Shaw something. Tina Shaw, I think her name is. You can't really see her face though. She's in a bondage outfit, but they highlight her
shaking the boobies around.
Yeah, and her ass and shit. And she's kind of like 90s Big Fine. That was like Big Fine for 90s. They didn't get much bigger than that, and then she'd be considered fat. But today she'd be just like not even thick,
regular,
just kind of regular, right? Which got us a move up because 80s girls were usually like sticks. The ones that they were presenting as being real hot, super skinny, no booty, and big fake titties on them. The size of beach balls. That would be like, that went on for a little while, but that passed too. But it was just, she looked good. Everybody looked good. Kim looked great. She's 37 in it. I checked everybody's age. She was 37 in it, and still very attractive, good shape, real good shape. Pretty haircut. That was a cool haircut for 92. That was like a goth industrial type haircut.
I'm just like
the beginning of a fucking undercut.
I'm just so used to seeing her with different hair.
Yeah, she had a black bob. It's a black fetish bob.
So it's like I always every time I see her in that with that haircut, because I know she got it for the Star Trek thing. Yeah. Because this was made around the same time. Yeah. It always seems like a wig, but I don't think it is. No. It looks very wiggish.
No, and there's an undercut. They keep showing you the fact that it's shaved underneath there, which in 92 that was like, oh man, that's edgy. That's really edgy. Yeah. She shaved her head. Girls don't shave their heads. That's like commonplace now. But in 92, that was some heavy shit.
I shaved half my head in the mid to late 1980s.
Yeah. So the fashion in it is good. It's got good costumes, especially for that time. The sets where they were just making shit up as they were going along, they're kind of cool.
This is pretty low budget.
Low budget. Cool little vehicles. They just take down Jeeps and put roll bars on them. They had hovercrafts going around through the streets because there was always like a couple feet of water or a foot of water everywhere. So they had hovercrafts, little cheap ones. The cops did. And fake guns. Those were fucking air guns. His main gun they're given like futuristic names for him, that's kind of cool. But it was a paintball gun based on a Colt Python. They put a damn forearm underneath it, like a stock, and I guess what's supposed to be a red dot. He calls it an automatic, but it's obviously a revolver. There's just all kinds of fucked up shit that's wrong in it. But it's just a fun game.
Well, like I said, it's supposed to be the future. Like I said, movie.
It shoots explosive fucking rounds, kind of like out of Blade Runner, Pretty neat. They do everything they can to keep a Rutger in a damn jacket. Because they don't want you to see his waistline has expanded quite a bit since the Roy Batty era.
But the thing about that, though...
It didn't matter, though.
One, it doesn't matter, and two, it's in line with his character because
he's
in the movie... in the movie, it's like, his partner got killed 3 years ago, and he was there, and he couldn't prevent it. Yeah. And now this serial killer, what they initially think is a serial killer, but it was actually a monster, is back again, so he's getting, like, stressed out about it. Yeah. And so he's not he's not okay. You know what I mean? So it's fine that, I mean, the apartment that he lives in, like the loft, is like a total shithole.
He's basically like the crazy cop from Lethal Weapon. He's like that mixed with Roy Batty.
I mean, they said that he used to be a drunk, but he quit. So now he just mainlines coffee and just has bags and bags of chocolate.
Yeah, and he's got a fucked up apartment that's filthy with Harley Davidsons and motorcycles everywhere.
You know what's crazy?
Everywhere.
And
pigeons living in it.
Yeah, pigeons living in it.
It's like Roy a big Batty shit. He's got a pigeon. Every stereotype and everything that fucking Rutger Hauer did, they got the pigeon on you, like in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
They're even like the woo and all that kind of shit, and him staring into the camera. They was doing stuff right from Blade Runner. It just, they know you saw these movies, so they're fucking with you. Yeah, you know. And then, you know, then his sidekick is dressed up as the Terminator. You know what I mean? They don't say it, but you just look at, you know, that's a Terminator outfit. It's funny, you know.
Can I say, like, my favorite part of this movie, well, I'm going to get back to what I was going to say in a second, but my favorite part of this movie is the interaction between Rutger Hauer and the partner.
Yeah.
The partner's name, the nerdy guy, is Dick Durkin. That's his character's name.
Yeah.
So it's Dick Durkin, and he like makes fun of like his name and stuff. But yeah, he's like a guy. He's from Oxford, and he's like studied psychiatry. He's like studied serial killers and stuff. So he's kind of one of those. So he's like so like their interactions and their conversations with each other are like super funny. But what I was gonna say was that, despite this movie being like surprisingly gory, there's like because the serial killer / monster, he kills people by tearing their hearts out, and like so a lot of times they'll show like the aftermath, and there'll be like a person with their rib cage sticking, there's fucking blood everywhere, and yet with all of that in there, the grossest thing in this movie was that at one point when Kim Cattrall is staying at Rutger Hauer's shitty loft apartment, he took a bunch of like chocolate bonbon things and stuck them all over the refrigerator door, like in a heart shape, and she took one off and ate it. And I was like, bitch, do you know how many germs are on the front of that refrigerator? Yeah. This place looks like it hasn't been cleaned in like 100 years. Yeah. And she just like, it's like, oh, how cute. And like takes it off and I was like, what? That's so gross.
Now, somebody says, this sounds like a Blade Runner ripoff. Oh, no, that doesn't even scratch the surface. It's ripping off everything.
Yeah, it's an everything ripoff.
It's ripping off every fucking thing, okay? And it knows that it's ripping it off, and it knows that you know that it's ripping it off.
Yeah, right? And it's all right.
It's all right. The tone is fucking crazy, all right? The tone is basically, I just keep coming back to Total Recall.
I mean, I laughed out loud so many times watching this
partly
movie.
ridiculous, you know.
I heard him laugh because I heard him way down the hall. I heard him laugh at his heart. Yeah, I did too. Like when I was watching it, it's fucking hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's hilarious. And honestly, it's like, I think some reviews of it said that it was unintentionally hilarious. I think it was intentional. I think it was intentional
because some of the stuff are homages and shout outs and Easter eggs and stuff. You're supposed to know what they're doing.
I mean, and
they're fucking with you.
It's obviously supposed to be funny.
It's supposed to be kind of funny.
And you know what I mean? I mean, obviously.
It's supposed to be exciting and it's supposed to be entertaining, which it does that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to give you a bunch of cool shit to trip out on. You know, to look at. And in '92, you would have gone, yeah, oh, look at that shit. You know, it's like kind of like RoboCop. The color palette is kind of like RoboCop when they go into the police station.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Just the way it is. They knew what they were doing. They knew that they had limited budget, so they better have a bunch of entertaining shit in it, which they did. And Rutger Hauer acts. He knocks it out of the park.
There's also
he's shooting up scenery.
Oh yeah, and there's also a lot of really great British character actors in this too. Pete Postlethwaite is in this. Ian Dury is in this. Yeah. As like Ian Dury from the Blockheads.
Recognizable people in it.
Yeah, Alan Armstrong. He's fucking great. He's like the head of his superior. You know what I mean? And he just like takes it. He just like swears his head off. Yeah. What the fuck is going on? Yeah. It's so fucking great. It's great.
It's all practical effects, and they do stuff. They show you stuff. You know, there's gore in it.
Yeah, there's a heart with a bite taken out of it.
Yeah, the only thing that's wrong with it, really, is the quality of the way it was filmed and some of the scenes, the lighting. It was kind of uneven. It needs a remaster maybe it looks a little hazy in certain scenes.
Yeah.
It's kind of hazy, and like they shot it with a soft filter to hide something. Probably bad quality shit. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, this movie only cost $7 million.
And it was shot in what, 5 days? I think it was 7 days.
No,
no,
I think 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I think it was shot in 3 weeks.
Okay.
But the thing about it,
I was like, that's it.
The thing about it though is that the original director, like I said, they had to make a lot of changes to the script because they're like, well, we don't really like the first iteration of the script because it's too much like the first Power. So when they started adding like this other dystopian stuff, and then like the original director, who I said was Tony Malum, who was actually the same guy that wrote that slasher movie, The Burning. He made most of the movie, and then like I don't know if he had a nervous breakdown, but because of the stress, he was just like, fuck this shit, I'm out. So they actually had to get another director to come in and finish it. Yeah. And that was Ian Sharp, who is actually the guy that directed the action scenes in GoldenEye. He didn't direct the whole movie, but just the action scenes. So the part at the end where he's like fighting the monster and like pulls his heart out and stuff, that was Ian Sharp directing that. And that was like a little bit chaotic, but like I said, I think the only flaw, and I don't even care about it because, like I said, this movie is hilarious and fun and gory, and it's just a good time. You know what I mean?
Kind of reminds me a bit of that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. I got to see it again. It's one with Brad Dourif. The one about they were fighting a damn monster. Wasn't it like a robot? And I think he's the only famous person. I think Brad Dourif is the only famous person in it. He basically plays kind of like a mad scientist. Remember that one?
Not Death Machine, is it?
I think it is Death Machine. I think it's Death Machine.
Was he in Death Machine?
I think he was.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Pretty sure he was.
You know what though? Death Machine had the same cinematographer, I think, as this movie.
Okay, yeah, it reminded me of Death Machine because Death Machine was real low budget.
Maybe that's why.
Death Machine was real low budget. But it was fun to watch, and they showed you a lot of cool shit. And it was all practical effects.
Yeah, it was Death Machine. Okay, Death Machine. Well, I can't believe I pulled that out.
Yeah, and it was Brad Dourif in it, and he was just chewing up the fucking scenery. I gotta see it again.
I love Brad Dourif.
I haven't seen it in a long time. And
he's just one of those guys that every time he's in a movie, it just makes it better.
this one, from just based on memory, this one is a little more like longer, and there's more to it than Death Machine. I think Death Machine was kind of short and real bizarre. That's just me.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I don't remember.
I gotta see that one.
But I did remember that this was the same cinematographer as Death Machine, so that's why they look alike.
And Death Machine was low budget but high in delivery. It gave you something to look at. If you're gonna be low budget, you better be fucking entertaining. And I remember being entertained from Death Machine. I gotta see it again.
And this movie is absolutely entertaining. This is like way entertaining.
It doesn't pull you into it like a good immersive story does, but it pulls you into it just by what the fuck are they going to try to pull on me next? And then you laugh. No, then what's he going to do next? And then it's just because it's nothing but action movie, big budget Arnold Schwarzenegger style action movie tropes over and over and over again through the whole thing. Fucking Blade Runner tropes. Fucking shout outs to Blade Runner. Shout outs to fucking Predator. To Alien, to RoboCop, to just everything. It's ripping off every fucking thing, and it knows you know that. It knows that you saw those movies. Even the lines. I shot at it, and it disappeared. That's fucking Predator. Predator 1. Those eyes, they disappeared. Fucking Mac, when he saw the Predator. And you don't see the monster really
until the end.
Until the very end, and
which is weird because I think a lot of the posters at the time had the monster on it,
so you kind of knew what it looked like.
And it looked good. I thought it does look like the Venom symbiote.
Yeah. It doesn't do much at the very end though. It doesn't. It's not like a big long sequence, and it sets it up just like an 80s movie. It sets it up for a sequel. That maybe it's not dead. But they
or maybe there's another one or something like that. Yeah, because there's like when after they kill it. There's bubbles like.
But there isn't a long fight sequence where you kill it and then it turns out it's not dead and then you got to kill it again. That was very 80s. You had to kill it 3 or 4 times.
Maybe they ran out of money.
I guess they ran out of money, and they didn't. They kill it once, which
and then it's like, oh, maybe it'll come back.
But they really kind of messed up.
Because, like I said, at that point, the main director had left because of the stress.
Right. Okay.
And they brought in another guy, and they were probably just trying to finish the fucking thing.
Yeah, probably just get it over with.
And I mean, and the finished movie isn't all that long. I think it was 93 minutes. There are a couple of scenes that were taken out, which I saw. I think they're on YouTube. Like, I saw them.
Does it change anything?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Basically, the one scene is just kind of like, because you know how Dick Durkin, like, there's a running gag about how he gets laid every night?
Yeah.
There's one scene where him and Harley Stone go to his apartment, and you get to meet his wife or girlfriend or whatever, but that didn't really, like... I mean, it was funny, but it wasn't really, like, anything to do with
Danny's going off about too many of these modern movies has homages. Well, that's the joke, man, because this is not a modern movie. It was a movie of those days.
Yeah.
It is homaging shit, like I said when we started this video, it's homaging shit back in the day when it was too early to homage it, but they would, fuck you, they homage it anyway. Okay.
We don't care if this movie only came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, when you were homaging it already. But that was part of the joke, if you ask me. I mean, I would have laughed my ass off then. Like,
I mean, it kind of works. Like I said, this movie, it's never boring.
No.
And I think, like I said, my favorite thing, and everybody, like, not Kim Cattrall, I guess, but, like, everybody else is kind of, like, overacting, but not in a way that's, like, obnoxious. No. They're a little bit overacting, but in a fun way.
Well, you like in Total Recall. The tone is Total Recall.
It definitely is. That's that's a good call, because I'm just kind of like, because I mean the whole hilarious thing about Rutger Hauer's character, and he's just acting crazy and paranoid, and then like he does shit like, you know, he's just totally spiked up on caffeine all the time, and he's like taking people's pens and stirring his coffee, like and shit like that, and then he gets like called into the superior's office. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? So it's very much action movie cliches.
Yeah.
But then there's like, so it's kind of like, you know, like Beverly Hills Cop or something like that. But then there's like a whole bunch of like horror elements. Like this is pretty gory.
Yeah, this would have been R-rated. Which there wasn't any, well, besides Conan, there wasn't any R-rated Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I mean, this had to be R-rated.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's lots of tits in it, and
tits, ass,
and it's very gory. It's very bloody.
Yeah, and it's not real convincing gory, but it's just like, okay, do it.
Yeah, it's like whole rooms full of blood, and like somebody laying there with like their heart ripped out and their ribs like sticking out. Yeah, so yeah, it is very gory.
Yeah, I liked it.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
Because I saw it. I don't remember the first time I saw it, because I feel like the weird thing that happened with this movie. This was 1992. It came out, and it seemed like when it first came out, like it got a lot of good like word of mouth, and like it had a really good like advertising campaign around it, like the trailers, and people were like, ooh, that looks good. But then like it sort of tanked. Like a lot of critics didn't really like it. They just thought it was sort of dumb and derivative.
It was too soon.
But, well, yeah, but the other thing, too, is that it came out, like, pretty much the same time as the LA riots were going on.
Oh, yeah. That would have
so I kind of feel like that fucked it up some.
Yeah.
So this is definitely one of those movies that didn't really get much. I mean, it didn't make its money back, even though it only cost, like, $7 million to make. I think it made less than $6 million back, like, at the box office. But this is definitely one of those ones that when it came out on VHS... like word started to get around, and actually for a time I heard that I was watching Oliver Harper's thing about it, and he said that in the UK this was actually like the top rental for a significant period of time.
Oh, I'd watch this drunk in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah, like this is wildly entertaining.
Yeah.
I just, and I had forgotten like how good it was.
I wouldn't mind having this as a Blu-ray in my collection.
Yeah.
This would be a good one.
I mean, when I was watching it last night, I was just like laughing my ass off. I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
I had forgotten how fucking fun this movie is.
It's not on par with Velocipaster. Because Velocipaster, the tone is
that's the platonic ideal.
Yeah, but it's
of the good bad movie.
Yeah, and Velocipaster is homaging shit from remember 30 years ago, 40 years ago. They're homaging shit. Remember 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Remember 2 years ago? Fucking, it's kind of funny to me, I liked it. I appreciated it. Because I kind of pictured a bunch of damn British people on the crew, fucking kind of poking fun at how ridiculous that genre is, which it is. It was ridiculous back then.
Yeah.
It was self-deprecating back then.
Maybe that's what it is. I kind of feel like, because I feel like a lot of the humor in this is maybe more British humor than American.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
British,
why
I
it
think
didn't.
It's the British laughing at the American sense of humor.
But not in a real overt way.
No.
Like, it's very, because it's very kind of like, I don't want to say it's necessarily dry, but it is like a little more sarcastic, I guess.
Yeah.
But
the Americans will love this. You got to put that in there. Oh, the Americans will love this. Put that in there. Those fucking idiots. You know what I mean? But it is, you just see it, you know.
But it is very funny.
Yeah,
like, I think it's very funny. Yeah. Like I said, I laughed out loud.
But like I said, it's not a comedy.
Yeah, not really. I wouldn't call it a comedy.
Really, it was meant to be entertaining. It was meant to have humor in it.
Yeah.
But it was not. They were taking it seriously. They weren't trying to go outside the scope of the. They're not trying to go outside the scope of the genre. They were doing things that other movies do inside the genre and still stay inside of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you go too far out, you're now parodying it. It's now a parody like Airplane. That's not what it was.
Yeah, it's definitely not a parody.
Not like that. No.
But then it's not a completely serious. It's it's got comedy in it, but it's not a comedy.
You're self-aware.
I would call it like an action horror with a little bit of sci-fi.
Yeah, action, sci-fi action horror. That's what it was.
With comedy.
Yeah.
But not. But it's not
really
a comedy.
It's not really comedy in the way that you would think. It's more kind of like.
Well, the comedy is like it's like situational, and it more comes from the. It more comes from like the dialogue between the characters, like being kind of funny, and just like the situations being kind of like absurd.
Yeah, it's absurdity.
Yeah.
In the way that so it's not so much comedy. It's more like absurdity. But it's absurd in the way that Total Recall was absurd. It's in the way that Running Man is absurd. Okay.
Yeah.
It knows it's being absurd. You're supposed to fucking go with it. You know?
Yeah.
All those movies were like that. They're like, you think that's bad? Look at it. What about this? It's like something out of Idiocracy. The movie it is Idiocracy. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm saying that's a movie that they would watch.
Yeah.
In the Idiocracy universe, kind of like that. Yeah. It's just funny. You know.
Yeah, it's just, but like I said, I had seen it a while back, and I just had a feeling, I was like, and I kept seeing it like on Amazon, because it's on free on Amazon Prime, and I was just kind of like, man, I should get Tom to watch that, because I feel like he'd really, really like that, and I kind of wanted to see it again too, so last night I started to watch it, and then it's like, I was like, man, I forgot how fucking, how fucking great this movie is.
What I'm going to give it praise for is that it's not a lazy movie, okay? They thought about it. They wrote about shit. They knew shit was ridiculous, and they kind of underlined certain things. But it was not a lazy movie. They just were working with what they had. They actually kind of delivered a lot more. That movie's punching pretty above its budget, you know, because they made little custom fucking things to show you. They did absurd shit, like he lit his fucking cigar with a blowtorch that he pulled off a damn military vehicle without even saying anything. It just and then moved on.
That was just the thing.
Grabbing his boss and guys fighting inside the damn station house over little shit. Fucking looking at each other too long, like they were gonna kill one another. Just it's hammy, but it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, like the more that I like it.
I'd watch it.
The only, like I said, the only complaint, and this isn't even really a complaint because I know how troubled the production was, is that some of the stuff isn't like the monster, like the reason for the monster, like it's not really explained. Like, is it a demon? Is it Satan? I think
it's all of that shit.
And they even go into like, because it leaves like the Scorpio thing like on the ceiling, and they never really explained it. But that's okay. Like I said, it doesn't matter.
That happened in a lot of B movies.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They just kind of like forgot about it. So I'm just like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah,
like, don't think about it. Don't think about it too hard. It's just
that was
like,
cool, wasn't it? Okay, on to the next thing.
Yeah,
that's all they're doing.
That's kind of like, because I know that it was like cobbled together from a couple different ideas.
Yeah.
Is probably why. So there's probably like a lot of ideas that they had that they didn't really develop fully. But like I said, as I don't care. I'll forgive pretty much anything as long as the movie entertains me. And this one absolutely.
They knew it was absurd.
Yeah.
They knew it was absurd. They're gonna love it.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Just keep going.
So I can definitely see why, like, when this came out on VHS, like, why it started getting, like, a cult following.
Yeah.
Because this is absolutely the kind of movie that would have a cult following.
Yeah, now it makes you want to see Death Machine. Is that really called? Death Machine, I want to see that.
Maybe we can watch. Well, probably well not tonight because we got to do a haunting tonight.
We'll do a haunting,
but tomorrow.
I want to see Death Machine.
Danny Rolling said, "What's tomorrow's a haunting episode review?" So I can watch it.
We
tonight.
had a request. What was
Somebody said to do Where Evil Lurks.
Yeah, we can do Where Evil Lurks.
And I don't think we've done that one before,
Okay.
so we'll probably do that one. I think that's season 4.
I'll find it.
If I'm not mistaken. Like, I can look it up because it was 2007, and I think that was season 4. So it'll probably be Where Evil Lurks, unless we watch it and then like see another one and like another one better. But it'll probably be that one.
Okay. I gotta start cooking and stuff.
All right. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with us today. Have a good rest of your weekend. Remember, tomorrow we're going to be doing a Haunting Mondays. That's something we're going to do every week now. We're going to be talking about a haunting episode. So that should be fun. So be sure to be here for that. And we will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.